Today I'm going to do a card that's just using this Polyclear stamp set by Hero Arts. It's the Blossom Art stamp set. There is another stamp that goes with this. It's a cling stamp version. You can see it's a bigger version of this stamp here. And they're quite nice to use together, but this one's just going to be a bit too big for the project I'm working on today. But if you're interested, this one's called the Striped Flower stamp set. I'm also going to be using this Heard from the Heart stamp set by Stampin' Up! And I'm going to be using this Kindness Comes in Many Forms but Always from the Heart stamp. No pattern papers. I'm just going to be stamping on I suppose it's a peachy orange coloured card base and doing lots of masked stamping techniques. So let's get started. First of all, what I need to do is just set up the stamps that I want to use on several blocks so I have them all to hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And first of all, what I have to do is to create the mask. So all I've got here is just an old sheet of copy paper. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Doesn't have to be perfect because these are literally just going to be used as the masking images. And then what I'm going to do is just cut around this. I'm going to keep it quite close to the line, but I'm just going to cut around it on the very outside edge. So just go ahead and do that. Okay, so you can see how close to the lines I've gone on this, but it doesn't matter if you were to do it a little bit further out, that wouldn't be a problem, but I quite like to cut it quite close to the edge for my masking techniques. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all of these other three stamps, and I'll be right back to get started on the card. Okay, so they're all cut out, and they did actually take quite a while to cut out, so I will be keeping these masks and reusing them again in the future. But what we need to do is just to prep the masks. I'm going to be using my Tombow removable adhesive, and I'm just going to be adding a little bit to the back of each one so that they can stick in place onto my card while I stamp around them. Okay, before I start stamping, I also need to mask off just a small border all the way around the edge of the card, because I want to do a border of faux stitching around the edge, or either a border of faux stitching or a hand-drawn line. I'm not sure which as yet. So I just need to mask off those. Okay, so I've got 4 strips of 1 centimetre wide copy paper, and again I'm just going to use this temporary adhesive just to adhere this down to the card. And I'm just going to put one on the bottom, another on the top, and one down each side. Now all I need to do is decide where I want to put the stamps. Once you've stamped your first image, you need to put the mask over it. So if I can just work out which way around this mask goes. Like so. Then you can stamp your next image. Again, I'm inking up the stamp really, really well. Deciding where I want it. And just stamping directly over the masked parts of the card and the card base itself. Then I think I'm going to do this one in that bottom left hand corner. Then I just need to mask this one off to do my final stamp. Again, I can just work out which way around this goes. Stamp this one once more, just in this top corner. Then use the mask for this one. And then stamp this right here. So I've got like a swoosh of flowers going up from the bottom left to the top right of that card. And now I can just remove all my masking. And I'm just going to keep these with my stamp set so that I can reuse them again whenever I want. Okay, next what I want to do is just to emphasize this frame around this outside edge, just so that I've got something to go along with when I'm kind of drawing in my white stitching lines. So I'm just going to use some antique linen distress ink for this. And literally just rub a very, very small amount just around the edge, using these white bits of copy paper as a mask. Okay, then I can peel away my masking lines around the edge. And as you can see, the antique linen's just left a really, really subtle and delicate frame around the edge of that card, which I love. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and draw in the frames. I'm not going to do faux stitching for once. Okay, so last but not least, I need to stamp this sentiment. Just this top one here. I'm going to be stamping it onto some vellum cardstock. And just to make sure that I only emboss the stamp itself, I'm just using this little embossing buddy just to get rid of any static that's on that cardstock. Just ink up my stamp with some Versamark ink. Just stamp that down onto the vellum. When using vellum, I find it much easier to use this Fiskars stamping press, because you don't get any of the movement on the stamp that you might get just by using an acrylic block. You get a perfect crisp image every time, so that's a handy tip for you. And I just need to go ahead and heat set this. Okay, so I've just trimmed that down to about, I don't know, 1.25 inches, something like that. I just eyeballed it, so the distance between here and here and here and here is about the same. So that's ready to go on my work. I'm just going to line this up where I want it. I just want it slightly offset to the right, and then fold it on that one side, making sure it's level, and then I can also fold this other side too. And then I just need to adhere this down on the inside of the card. And for that, I'm going to use this glue runner by Tombow. You can see it through the vellum, but I don't care. It's on the inside of the card. And I don't personally think the vellum glue is much better. I don't have any anyway anymore. So I'm just going to line that up where I want it and then stick it down like that. So that's the card. Fairly quick and simple. Once you have all these masks cut out, it's really, really quite quick card. So you could reproduce this quite quickly if you wanted to, maybe using a different sentiment, different colour cardstock, different inks. So yeah, it's a great little card if you want to do lots of them. I hope you liked it, and I will be back soon with another one. Thanks for watching. Bye!